Welcome back into Academy. We're getting ready for the fourth game of the day, and definitely going to be one of the most hype ones. FlyQuest Academy are 4-1. Team Liquid Academy are 5-0 at the moment. Both of them sitting pretty at the top, and FlyQuest Academy would love to be able to usurp the title from Team Liquid and make it so there's a three-way tie at first.
And honestly, FlyQuest has the ability to do this. FlyQuest Academy has looked incredible in all of their games thus far, and especially yesterday. I was very impressed with Tomo's play. I feel like between him and NXI, this team can do no wrong.
Yeah, exactly. FlyQuest Academy are one of these teams that, honestly, some of the players, Kumo being one of them mainly, that I've just always wondered why he's not in LCS, because this guy is insane. And you can see it from the bot lane as well, out of FlyQuest Academy. Tomo and Dreams have been working so well together. Now that Dreams is able to been able to join back up with the team and show that they are going to be one of the powerhouses of Academy bot lanes.
And you can just see that even with the Rakan, a not as picked champion in the current meta, Dreams is still able to make this lane work so well. And even when the fights don't go their way, as what happened here, they still manage to come back with a very convincing game.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's like, it looked like it was a difficult fight, but Kumo in the middle of everyone says, "I don't care. Who do you think I am? I'm Renekton, baby. Let's go!" And they were able to still bring that fight from the jaws of defeat and wrestle it back so that they were able to get a convincing win over TSM Academy, despite the fact that at some moments it looked like they were going to falter.
It's really come down to NXI and his ability to control objectives, able to get those early dragons, get to Soul, and get the 2 Barons that were necessary for FlyQuest to take over this game. But Bippa was just out of sorts, and unfortunately for TSM Academy, FlyQuest, they're just on a hot streak right now.
They're on a hot streak, they're doing well for themselves, but where does that end? Does it end up against their opponents in Team Liquid Academy? That's what we have to ask ourselves going into this matchup, because while they look hot, they're doing well. You talked about NXI as well. He's got to go up against Armao. And Armao has been someone who has been helping out pretty much every lane, been able to really open up what they need to for Kumo, for Hayri, for Yon and Isla in the bot lane. It's just, he's been able to do so much to make it so that they can find these wins.
Honestly, there's just a team full of star players. You just see so many members of Team Liquid Academy doing so much work in every single fight, and to think almost all these players are new to the league. Like, you have 3 members that are from the OCE just coming in, showing NA what's up, and saying that we are here to play. Harry especially, just on that, Yone was disgusting yesterday.
Yes, he was. Him and also Yon, even though not necessarily the best in the lane, once you got Yon out of there, is like, okay, hey, there's a reason why all I need is the pentakill, the coveted pentakill, to be able to have gotten every single type of killing spree in this game. And you can meme it all you want. I want to see it. That'd be hype to be able to get the full cycle in this game. But it's something that Team Liquid have been able to utilize, is that Yon and Isla are able to play very aggressively. Hayri especially has been able to pop off on so many random picks, like you mentioned, the Yone, but then also being able to do so well on Azir. I think he's only died once on that Azir. Well, sure, it's out of 2 games, but that's still pretty impressive.
And really, it's just their team play. Jenkins, you could see that he's willing to make the sacrifice. He doesn't have to play, the flashy gangplanks, your Renektons, your Camille's. Yesterday, he played that Moonstone Renewer in Lulu and was able to do so much work against Tapoon, who also has just been having a pretty good season thus far.
Yeah, we all have seen that play, unfortunately, for Tapoon, where he thought he was going to be able to get the solo kill on Jenkins, who kited it out and just like, all right, when's Olaf going to show up here? When am I going to get help? When's Armao going to be able to do something? And he, sure enough, survived for way too long and was able to get the kill over to Armao so that Olaf could get scary.
And really, it's just the experience coming in from Jenkins and Armao that's able to push these other 3 players into this comfort zone for Academy, and their unstoppable results have shown this. They're just able to use their advantages, they're able to gain early advantages, and they're even able to come back from disadvantages, which is something we always credit C9 Academy for, but Team Liquid Academy seems to have taken over this playstyle.
And something that's fun to talk about with Team Liquid Academy is, out of all the teams, they've got one of the fastest average game times, and that's excluding Golden Guardians Academy, who actually have one slightly faster, but that's not for good reasons. Team Liquid have one of the fastest of a team that's been able to win a lot, and so this shows how they like to play. They get a lot of first bloods, they get a lot of first towers, and anytime they're ahead at 15 minutes, they always have been able to close out those games.
It really comes down to just the ability to pick well and to play off the picks that you have. And this is something that we see time and time again for every academy team, is being able to draft something that you know how to play. The more diversity you have in those picks, sure, that's going to lead you to more victories. But if you have one play style and it hasn't been figured out yet, then by all means, just keep picking that, keep doing the things that work well for you, and success will come your way.
And before we do hop into the draft, I kind of want to talk about some fun trends that you see from these teams. A lot of the teams, Pantheon, Seraphine, Olaf tend to be at the most banned by all the teams. Not Team Liquid. Syndra, TLA, Twisted Fate are amongst the tops. So while the TLA, you can make an argument, that's expected. Syndra and Twisted Fate being among the top 3 is a bit surprising that they constantly ban that away, not even really wanting to touch it themselves.
It could just be because of Triple's playstyle. There's a lot of things that he does well. I don't know if control mages are necessarily his strongest point. Yes, he has Azir as that pocket pick, but if you can't play every single meta champion, that doesn't mean that you're out of the game. You just take those out of the game. And on the other side, for FlyQuest Academy, one thing I've noticed among their drafts, they don't pick Olaf. They are more than happy to just take that away and to make sure NXI doesn't have to play against it.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Sam, you misspoke on.
I
said
meant to say, hey, I am so sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. I was really confused for a second. I'm like,
yeah, where was I going?
Did I get messed up my notes? I'm like going through. I'm like, no. It was just a simple spoken word. It's okay. I get what you meant though. Hey, Reeb, we got a question. What is the champion pool coming in from this player from Oceania, and how they're going to be able to perform up against Triple? Again, another player from Oceania. You got the matchup of the I guess it's not Australian lanes, because that's already a term where they swap lanes. What would you call that? Now we have to come up with a new terminology if they're going to be people from the same region coming over here that are not imports fighting up against each other.
New Zealand lanes. It's different.
I guess, but what if they're not from New Zealand?
I don't know. I'm just well,
not Oceania?
I don't have an
lanes?
answer to that.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Not everything has an answer, Especially
it's
stupid
like
questions.
the rhetorical tree falling in a forest, and no one's around to use the branches.
It makes a noise.
Yeah.
It makes a noise. Like it's not even a question. It makes a noise. But going back into this game, so I believe it's FlyQuest are going to be on blue side, and Team Liquid Academy are going to be on red side. And another fun stat, I have all these fun stats in here in this notebook in front of me, is that, sure, there's only been a certain amount of games. It's not been very many games played by everyone so far. But for FlyQuest Academy, of the 2 games they've played on blue, they've won both of them. They've only lost on red side. While for Team Liquid, of course, being undefeated, haven't lost on either side, but they have more wins on the red side than they do on the blue.
So that's curious to see how the draft strategies start to change, because yes, FlyQuest is going to be able to bring out something interesting, but I feel like of all teams, Team Liquid Academy knows how to draft, and they know how to counter a draft, which more often than not favors the red side.
And they also like to play early. They like to draft for early victories, trying to see if they can get ahead that way. Even if they have like Lulu and top side, they still want to be able to get these leads to snowball. So when we hop into Champion Select between FlyQuest Academy, Team Liquid Academy, we have to see how they're going to both be able to draft for one another, how Team Liquid are going to aim for that early game, and how FlyQuest are going to be able to counter that.
Well, we'll have to see that, as draft is going to be starting up in just a second here.
There
it goes. As Team Liquid Academy are starting the bans, and that's a Felios gone.
I'm sorry, I had it the
Opposite
wrong
day.
way. Team Liquid are on the blue side, FlyQuest on the red, and they've only lost on the red side, so that's already not looking so hot for FlyQuest.
It's already a little scary, but at the same time, Seraphine's going to be gone, so Team Liquid Academy, they don't even have to struggle with that. It's taken away for them, and so is Victor. So really targeting Triple here, a very interesting strategy. Maybe this is a Hayri-centric sort of draft coming in from Team Liquid Academy. Maybe they're thinking about the Yone again.
Could be thinking about the Yone, but the thing that I was talking about is that Syndra ban that had been banned by Team Liquid so many times. I think only one game they didn't ban it away. Normally they do ban it when they're on the red side, so they could even opt to try to grab that for themselves and see if that's going to be the play, since you knew that it was going to be probably either Pantheon or it was going to be Olaf, and with Olaf being the one, Pantheon and Udyr have been the things let through, so it's probably going to be a trade of 1-for-1.
And now this allows NXI to get not the TLA, excuse me, the Pantheon if he wants it, and the Twisted Fate going to be hovered for triple. A pretty good pick, I would say. Harry, of course, going to get the counter pick, and I feel like that's going to be scarier than anything else. FlyQuest Academy do lock it in. So let's see the Pantheon, and if not, what answer do they have against it?
Right. If it's not the Pantheon, I would be a bit surprised. While Kaisa is something that could be an option, if you wanted to be able to grab that and then give over Pantheon, but then you'd be giving over 2 point-and-click stuns to the side of Team Liquid that are easy to execute and honestly are going to be difficult to be able to slow down. NXI grabbing Lilia instead.
All right. So a small pivot coming out of FlyQuest Academy. Lilia is still a pretty good pick for NXI. It allows them to go aggressive and find those early first bloods that FlyQuest Academy want to take away from Team Liquid. And I feel like if you're trying to counter a Pantheon, Lilia is a reasonable answer. And Team Liquid Academy, they're not even going for the Pantheon immediately. They might not even take it at all at this point.
Might not. They might just leave it up since I'm doubtful to see if FlyQuest Academy are going to grab that for themselves either. I mean, sure, it could be flexed up to Kumo, or it could be for Dreams in the bot lane as support. You sometimes do see that where Pantheon is still flexed into the supportive role. It just doesn't seem like it's that much of an option, especially not going up against a Kaisa Rel bot lane.
And instead, FlyQuest Academy decided to draft their solo lane, so really putting a lot of focus onto their bot side. I feel like this is a great response to Team Liquid Academy, who also have a very strong bot, but FlyQuest Academy are confident in their bot. They know that that's going to be their win condition 9 times out of 10. Tomo plays amazingly. Dreams has incredible synergy with him. And against Jan and Isla, it's going to be a really tough matchup, so you want to make sure you have every foot forward that you possibly can get.
And for Jan right now, that Kaisa has been his most played champion this split. This is going to be his 5th game on Kaisa. The only other time he's not played Kaisa is when it was banned and he played Senna instead. So getting back onto pretty much the comfort out of Jan, trying to be able to win out in the late game, is going to be what the strategy is for Team Liquid as like a reserved aspect. They can always fall back on that if they need to be able to, but they still want to be able to pressure around that early game like they're so used to.
And with that, they target their last 2 bans at Jenkins in the Kennen and the Lulu. The Kennen, very classic fallback to Jenkins. He's been playing that for years. And the Lulu, which they saw yesterday, being very scary. However, the Karma's still left up. A lot of these Moonstone Renewer top laners are still available for Jenkins should he want to play them. I'm curious if that's where Team Liquid Academy wants to go. They certainly can. It's just not as great with the Deer as opposed to something like the Graves or the Kindred, where you have that carry in the jungle to back up in addition to your AD carry.
Now, the only problem I have with FlyQuest Academy's draft so far is that they didn't get anything for the bot lane before, so they're not going to be able to counter anything. You already know what's going to be able to come in from the side of FlyQuest. It's going to be obvious that it's going to be Twisted Fate mid. It's going to be Renekton top lane. You are staring at that, Sam, like, no. And I'm pretty sure it's a no.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that going anywhere.
That's not real.
It'd be hilarious to see. I mean, Lethality Yumi is something
real.
I've advocated for years as something that is totally viable, and I'm not lying, and you shouldn't read too deep into that, but it's going to actually be Aatrox.
And the Orianna is rounding off of this comp. Again, pretty standard composition coming in from Team Liquid Academy. They have the Engage, they have the top presence, they have the jungle and Udyr. I feel like this is just the bread and butter. They're going to play the way they have 5 games in a row, and they're going to go for their 6th win. On the other side, though, they've been waiting to see what Dreams could pick, and I'm curious why they waited this long to finish their composition off. Maybe it's because this Bard is such an offshoot from what they usually play.
It is, but again, what I was saying before is they draft Senna and Braum here, where if you're worried about Renekton and Twisted Fate getting banned, like the Twisted Fate I can actually understand. That one's been banned a lot by Team Liquid Academy. I already had mentioned that. But the Renekton was one of those picks that just kind of sent a couple question marks to me, where I'm just like, yes, you might expect that to be banned, but it might have been better to just opt in for either the support or for the ADC once you saw that it was going to be Kaisa Rel. Grab something like that, because you see how Xayah and Alistar got taken away by Team Liquid Academy. It's now a Senna Braum lane, which is not really that interactive of a lane. They're probably going to play pretty passively.
It could just be a call out from Kumo, because Kumo and Jenkins have a lot of history of playing against each other in Academy. And so by picking the Renekton, he's saying, you have to counter me. Use your next pick in order to do that, and we'll be able to get Dreams in a better position. Now, that said, The Braum Senna lane, I'm not entirely sure I'm feeling, because Senna now has to not play passive. She has to instead be the farming character, as opposed to giving all the gold to Braum.
The one thing I do like about it, though, is the disengage potential that this Braum is going to be able to provide for them. Since Team Liquid Academy, they want to be able to dive into them. As we jump onto the rift between these two, both of them fighting for the #1 spot, Team Liquid Academy want to retain the undefeated streak that they've got themselves going, and they have a comp to be able to run into FlyQuest Academy and do just that.
Oh, they certainly have a running comp on the FlyQuest Academy squad, but let's see whether or not that pays off against the disengage that Team Liquid Academy can provide in both Ayla and possibly Harry, depending on how he decides to play the Orianna.
There's nothing exciting happening, as per usual. Sam, when am I ever going to get my level 1 fights?
Oh, we had some in Academy. I definitely recall last week.
Yeah, but when are we going to cast them?
Us? Probably never, at this rate. We're just cursed. We're cursed, Magical. We're never going to get the fun level 1s. We're never going to get the cheeses.
Bear Slap again.
We'll see Flash Bear Slaps. That goes without saying. You can see Armao did not take the Ghost, as is tradition in Academy. So that should be pretty good for him. He has the Phase Rush, of course, and nothing really unusual about any of the runes coming out of both of these sides. I'm curious how NXI is going to play this.
I'm yawning because I wanted to fight. I wanted pressure. I wanted bloodshed, mayhem, chaos,
destruction,
anarchy, destruction. All the words that are synonymous with that, and I got none of it.
Absolutely nothing. As we do see Jenkins starting off, just helping Armao out. Looks like a topside start for Team Liquid Academy, and FlyQuest Academy doing the mirrored start on the bot side. This might mean NXI gets the inside path for Kumo and might be able to push him into a small lead early on if he gets the gank at around 3 minutes.
I was almost wondering if NXI is actually going to look for an early gank into the bot lane on Diana Kylo. Maybe try to see if they can get something a little bit more aggressive, since you're expecting
Kaisa and Ral to be able to push back into a Senna Braum lane. That's such a passive lane, as I mentioned before. Where sure, if you tag someone with Windru's Bite, you're going to be able to follow that up and try to get a little bit more, but Senna does struggle to quickly get the concussive blow stacked up. As you can see, level 2 spike from Yon and Ayla. Already looking for the pressure, but they aren't going to be able to get any of the flashes that they wanted to out of Tomo or Dreams.
No, this was just good passive play that we were talking about from FlyQuest Academy. They back off, they have Dreams to disengage, now they hit 2, and they don't have as much to be scared of.
Why are they so low in mid lane? Flash in, cleanse as well from Harry. Gonna be able to flash as well away. Triple L so close. Minions almost were Winions.
Not quite, though, as we do see Triple's able to make it out alive. And even though he has to back, you feel like with the gank that he had, it was more of a forced gank than NXI doing a proactive action there.
Yes. It was like I guess I'm here, and they're both really low, so I suppose this is what we'll do. Yep. It was just weird that they were that low to begin with.
It really was, and you can see the clear time difference between NXI and Armao, not only because of that gank, but because of the Udyr versus Lilia matchup. Udyr's already finished his, Armao is ready to gank, Lilia still has a couple of camps to do, has to immediately go for the Rift Scuttler as her 6th camp, and then has to go to the rest of the jungle. Taking a look at the gold differences,
Sam,
Kumo has already built up a 200 lead.
And why doesn't Udyr have a deer stance?
I'm not going to answer that, Magical.
No, it's a genuine question. His name's Udyr.
Okay.
So you go, oh dear is Udyr, but it doesn't make sense because he doesn't have a deer stance.
That's a... I think you could ask that about virtually every animal in the animal kingdom as to why Udyr doesn't have that stance. Yes, I know about the name.
A camel stance.
Camel stance would be kind of fun. Means he could stay in the desert for longer.
I want a camel champion. I've been saying this for years. I want a camel champion.
Camel champion.
Mage camel.
Let's see it. Get a lot of poke.
One day it will happen.
No, it would have to be sustain, right? Because
yeah, he sustain it, but he also like spits at people because that's what camels do.
That's a llama thing. Oh, I guess it's
llamas do that too.
Yeah.
I'm okay with both. Give me a llama champ or a camel champ, and their skins are the other.
No, the troll thing would be you make the camel champ and you don't have him from Shurima. That would be fun.
That would be hilarious.
That would be the funniest thing.
Yes, I agree with that. That would be great.
Champion concept.
We've given great ideas for champion design. Someone's got to listen to us as right now. Kumo and Jenkins trading blows in the top lane. Little bit of a lead for this Renekton, making sure to flex that might and say, Jenkins, stay away from the minions for now. Oh, was able to get the stun. A little bit of
Kumo.
damage. Slice and dice. Dodged away from the Darkened Blade. Flashed away from the Darkened Blade third stack, so he survives. I thought for sure he was going to be able to get the kill, though, out of Kumo.
And of note, both junglers are bot side. They're prepping for this dragon and the bot side gank already. So Kumo and Jenkins have been left on this island. They will be fighting it out, and Kumo actually continues to push. Will force the teleport out of Jenkins.
Run like a ninja from Naruto. I just realized that as well.
It's in the definitely not skin. It's pretty funny. Not gonna lie.
Is it okay? If it's only in that one, that's great. Because I saw the Phoenix stance, and he's got the arms back. I'm like, wait, I just noticed that. How did I just notice that?
I think it depends, because he has 2 run animations in Phoenix. I think one is he's doing like a cape thing.
Look at that!
Yeah.
And then, clawing forward.
Yeah, I seem to recall
gonna
that
do it again?
his passive stance is like one arm forward. Ah, rah, 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 as our mouth
That
just
makes
goes
sense,
forward.
though. He's a bear. He's mauling people. That makes sense. I get that. Why is the Phoenix got his arms back? He should be flapping his wings.
Well, he's not going to fly magical. As hard as he can try.
Don't tell him that. He can dream.
You think he became a Phoenix just because he wanted to fly? You think that's why he
Yes!
chose those stances? That makes sense.
Of course.
Why did he choose turtle?
Who doesn't want to be a turtle?
Oh, you're right. Any deep lore experts in the chat, please shout out to why Udyr chose the turtle stance while he wants to fly simultaneously.
I mean, it's why his passive is monkey stance, after all. It's because we all know that we're boosted.
Oh, that's true. Well, as every team in Academy knows, apes together strong.
Yeah. Gotta get them diamond hands, man.
Yep. Hold, hold, hold.
That ain't working so well, but you know what isn't working so well right now? It's farming. And that's what both sides are doing at the moment. They're trying to see if they can push back and forth the ebb and flow of the map, the minions, especially this mid lane. We saw it last game. We'll see it again here, where all they do is push the minion waves and then rotate elsewhere because they don't ever really want to fight each other. Harry already has cleanse back up. Even if Triple wanted to make a play, that you're going to gold card someone who can cleanse immediately, and it's all about can you get the Cat and Jack.
It's going to be tough, but not impossible. I imagine Triple is up to the challenge, otherwise he wouldn't have played the champion. As Triple decides to move on over, he does not get the blue buff, which should be noted because Lilia unfortunately needs it for the second clear. And with that, Harry has a small advantage in the push game. Unfortunately, though, Dragon is up, and NXI looks like he's too low of an HP to actually contest this Armal, already making his way over.
Could have gotten the smite to be able to get a little bit more health back, but since the Scuttle Crab was taken by NXI, this is going to be completely spotted. Unfortunately, with both mid and bot being pushed up like they are, even if NXI was healthy enough, that wouldn't have been the play that they'd want to make. There's too easy of a potential for either Orianna or even the bot lane to rotate up and pinch whoever is trying to see if they can contest. So it's a smart move regardless, even if, like I said, NXI was healthy enough to fight it, to just back out and give it up.
And with that, NXI with the back timing does pick up the Bandle Glass Mirror. Will have a couple extra stats and is well on her way to a Moonstone Renewer. And get excited. It's happening. Did you want the Leandris?
Moonstone.
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah. I want damage. You know this, Sam.
Yeah, you're right.
I do not like playing lazy wussy mode, ardent sensor meta crap. Get that out of my face.
Well, good news is, Magical. Next week, I believe all the players are playing on 11.3, which is going to have more
It
of it.
didn't do enough to get rid of it from what I've heard.
Nope. But eventually, you know, Magical, it's cyclical. It
One
all
day.
comes around.
One day. All right, well, looks like there might be something coming around here as they're able to open wide and get the Destiny Gate, try to see if they can get on top. Everyone's asleep. Nicely done by NXI
Wow.
to be able to get first blood. Jenkins in a bad spot, trying to
Dreams?
get away, just could not do so. Armau as well, getting chased down. He might have the exhaust on his head, but the flash comes in from Dreams to be able to get the double kill out of NXI.
Well played out of FlyQuest Academy. They capitalize on the overextension coming out of Team Liquid, and they're able to use their champions to the fullest. You saw the 3-man Lilting Lullaby coming out of NXI. Very, very well played. And hopefully we'll be able to see more of that as the game goes on. But looking back at this play, they get the objective. They get the Rift Herald. They see an extension from Team Liquid Academy. And this flash forward, amazing out of NXI.
That was so well done, as well as getting the Dawn and Shadow right before, so that they didn't have to worry about anybody waking up from the Lilting Lullaby. They could chase it down, cost a blow stack too. That play was well timed from FlyQuest Academy. And now they've got themselves a nice 2,000 gold lead. And we're only 10 minutes into the game.
It's a 2,000 gold lead, and the item of de jour completed. NXI is online fully. Doesn't have the tier 2 boots, but doesn't need them quite yet. Lilia is pretty fast by herself.
I'd even prefer that. Give me a turbo chem tank, Lilia. I don't care. Go fast. No Heelys. Go away.
We all wish we could wear some Heelys, but unfortunately, Triple gonna be left alone by himself. No heels.
Do we
to
wish we
speak
could
of
wear
quite yet.
Heelys? Let's talk. No. You can't just bring up Heelys and move past it.
Of course I can.
That's not a topic to talk about.
Okay.
When have Heelys been cool? Like
When
the
have
last
they not
time I
been
remember Heelys being cool, I was in middle school. Avery probably gonna die here because you can't really escape from that. You just drag back in Kumo. So going back to the Heelys discussion, because that's actually important here.
Okay, so Heelys, right? You can move around fast, and Dreams is getting moved around fast himself.
Yeah, but he's also got a way to dodge out. So back to Heelys.
You know, every time we talk about it now, there's going to be a fight. You know that's just how this works, right?
Sam.
Fine. I'm going to continue. Heelys. You move around on skates. It's cool. You have the wheel and the heel. How could you not think that's awesome? You get to move around. You get the adoration and jealousy of your classmates as you're rolling around. I had a teacher who had Heelys when I was in high school. That
you want to know why I hate Heelys?
Why?
Because I have no coordination.
I thought that was going to be the answer, if I'm fully honest. I thought that's what was coming.
I have no coordination, and every time I wore any of them, fell square on my butt. And I'm like, I hate these. They're dumb. I don't get why they're so cool. And I always wanted them.
Yeah, honestly, like if you can use them, I think that's where the popularity comes in. If you can't, it's a fashion statement that feels kind of dumb because now you just have wheels on your heels that you don't use.
Exactly. That's how it is.
I feel you.
Anyways, okay. Now we're done with the conversation. I'm betting Chad's gonna be happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get back to this game because we did have to pick mid lane on Hayriga. Unfortunately, not with cleanse. So without that, it means that's an easy target. No flash, no cleanse. And with another kill, it's gonna unlock Triple. He's gone for the ghost, so he's gonna look for more of these Destiny Gate plays. And what I'm wanting to see is, since we haven't seen much from this bot lane, I talked about how the Tomo Dreams lane of Sen and Braum, what are they gonna do? They're gonna farm, not really do much. But that's the same kind of thing for Yon and Ayla at the moment. Ayla is that they haven't really been able to do much. They haven't been able to get back there just because how safe Braum and Senna have been.
It's been tough, but at the same time, if you're playing a scaling battle, Yon is not in a bad position. Kaisa is going to be an explosive mid-game character, and I feel like we're getting close to the point where she's going to join in team fights. FlyQuest Academy, they're centering around this dragon. NXI is going to get it started. Tomo's going to help, and there's not going to be a response from Team Liquid Academy.
Well, unlike last time where it was Team Liquid that were the ones that had the lanes pushed up, it's the opposite this time. FlyQuest Academy were the ones to be able to get their lanes in a position that they could push up. Mountain Dragon a little bit tankier in these fights, It's a win's a win, and you continue to have a 3,000 gold lead here at 13 minutes into the game. And look at that. They've only got the plates mid lane from it. It's been mostly because they had some great fights.
Yeah, that fight that they got towards the Herald and then popping the Herald definitely got them all the gold advantage that they need for the moment. 2,500 at the moment, but
Wave and Triple's out. I mean,
is he?
He got a lot of damage. Yeah, he's out. It's like, he had Ghost too. He could have gotten even faster if he wanted to be able to get out of that one. Avery mostly doing that to be able to push back the wave and try to see if he can force this recall out of Triple because he wanted to be able to back. They're trying to do that just so that you don't have to worry about the Twisted Fate being able to Destiny Gate all over the place and impact the map while you yourself, since you have Cleanse as opposed to being able to get that TP, you're not going to be able to do much until you're back in the lane. You have to force Twisted Fate to go home.
And go home he had to, as we do see Triple returning to lane. Does have the extra stopwatch just to make sure he's safe in lane, as well as the Ionian boots completed. So we'll be looking pretty confident at the moment. We'll be able to get out of any sort of trouble that he comes into. You saw the problem, though, with trying to gank Triple. Armao, anytime he moves forward, Triple's already moved back. So there's no way for Udyr to get on a Twisted Fate when Twisted Fate knows he's there.
NXI, bad item. Armao, good item. Me like you fast.
We all like you fast, but unfortunately that's not what wins games. NXI just trying to do his best to not int, as it were.
What? doesn't win games. What do you mean?
Magical.
Is this not?
We
is not
exist
Mario
on a
Kart?
different plane than these players. You understand that, right? Our silver bot lane, our at best gold bot lane, is not going to play the same
You're
as it
being
would.
so kind to us right now.
I know,
talking
right?
about how high of a elo we can
It's
get.
amazing we're not in iron. Pure luck, as it were.
What is it? 20% luck, 20%
80%.
skill.
18% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 5% pain.
100% reason to remember the name.
I don't think we added up to 100 there.
No, we did
I'll be
not at
honest.
all. And in fact, if I recall, they add up to like 120 as Tomo. Trying to get away. Tomo, where can you go? Trying to get the flash.
Oh,
Did
no.
not have, barely not off cooldown.
It was so close, but that's just the capitalization that Team Liquid Academy has. Our Mao able to get his first kill of the game, making an impact and trying to go over to stop this Rift Herald. Maybe he'll do it.
We need some backup to be able to get into this one. Jenkins on the other side looking for this flank. It's down so low. They already got the smite, but they're going to try to see if they can start the fight off. Huge magnetic storm coming in from Island to the back.
Jenkins?
Damage on to Dreams. He's still alive, though. Flash in, shut down on an NXI. Trying to see if Dreams can be able to get out of that one. He went to be able to dash, but he couldn't. Jenkins picks himself up a double kill as Hayri looks to get tripled down. Needs one simple auto attack, but he'll get it with the ball instead. 3 kills for the side of Team Liquid.
And command attack, just too much to deal with there. That's what Team Liquid Academy is drafted for. That was the play they were able to make. Jenkins getting in the middle of 5, and especially Ayla, who I gotta say, on the rel is a threat, was able to get in there, hit 4 people with a magnetic storm, and let his team do the work around him. Very well played by Team Liquid Academy.
That was massive, and this is why Ayla has been one of those players that has been kind of touted as, you know, probably one of the strongest players we've been seeing. And in fact, I think you and I were talking beforehand that we think that Ayla is one of the strongest rels in Academy, proving it. Flashed forward, oh, immaculate.
Pretty much the exact opposite of NXI's play earlier, where he was the one that got flashed on and instead died as Dreams, unfortunately unable to make it out of the pit. Just a very good setup from Team Liquid Academy, FlyQuest Academy. They don't really have a whole lot of disengage once the Glacial Fissure is down, and especially once NXI is down.
You know, I feel attacked right now. I've been called out on Twitter about trees making sounds when no one's around.
Oh yeah?
Apparently, quantum theory says trees make no sounds if measuring devices is not present.
That's interesting. I actually hadn't considered that. We're gonna get deep on this cast, Magical. I can feel it. This is the
Is
one.
a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Is a Pop-Tart a ravioli?
What?
Is a Pop-Tart a
That's a new
ravioli?
one.
Sam?
No.
It is.
Too much sugar.
Is cereal a soup?
Yes. Enough sugar.
All right, enough of that. We've gotten through that because looks like there's FlyQuest nearby. Again, Ayla looking to be all right on top of Tomo. He's able to get over the wall, get the shields that he needs to be able to survive. As Dreams trying to see if he too can get out of there, but Yon makes sure that he cannot escape that, even with the lilting lullaby onto the proper targets. Tomo,
Rift Herald.
try to get in there. Rift Herald's going to be able to take down the turret in the meanwhile, but 4 members still there for FlyQuest, having to back out of the fight because they're still at a disadvantage.
Tomo, unfortunately, couldn't get back into that fight and get the heals that he needed. I saw him in the back there just kind of CSing, deciding that, hey, this turret that's being taken, I'm going to stop it. Take 2 CS, there. I've done my job in the fight. But otherwise, Team Liquid Academy, they get the capitalization they need, and the fight comes back.
Armao, he's been caught out. Gold card to lock him down. Followed it up by Renekton, but he's still alive. Finally, he falls to NXI, but look at Yon trying to see if he can get the damage onto Tomo. Not going to be able to follow it up just yet. He's flashed in for it. Finally takes him down. NXI gets down so low, but there Cathian Rain picks up the double kill. FlyQuest, Blasco, no triple. Where are you going to be able to go? Hayri wants to be able to pick himself up his 2nd kill of the game as Tomo looking for Yon. Not going to be able to fight it, unfortunately. And another fight going disastrously for FlyQuest.
At the very least, they stopped the dragon from being taken. You could tell Team Liquid Academy, they chose that fight at that time in that location to get the dragon, but FlyQuest Academy, they get just enough off of Armao to take him down and stop any further objectives from being taken after the mid lane turret was down. Otherwise, Team Liquid, they had the re-engage on them, but it was FlyQuest Academy that actually felt down in that. Just too much play coming in, especially from Ayla, once again proving how good of a rel he is.
Constantly with these engages, always being able to set up the team. for success. And that's the one thing you see constantly from the spot lane, why Yon as well is always able to get in a position to start carrying. It's because Ayla is always able to set up the fights for the team. So that way you have this perfect positioning that can be executed by Kai'Sa, always on the outskirts of the fight. And even in that last fight, we recall where it looked like Armao was caught out, but they couldn't burst through that Udyr fast enough. So everyone else was able to collapse back in for the fight, re-engage it, and split apart FlyQuest.
Jenkins also proven himself to be quite the hero in most of these fights. He's always in the middle. He always follows up on the setup coming in from Ayla, and his damage output is just crazy with that Gore Drinker on 11.2.
Yep, that's also Aatrox having it too. So let's take a look at that replay, and like you mentioned, keep your eyes on Ayla.
Just going in, getting the Magnetic Storm. Tomo almost falls, manages to get out. Unfortunately, Dreams is sacrificed for the play. However, FlyQuest Academy, they get the Rift Herald down, and they manage to actually pull an objective out of this. Kumo staves off any sort of counter aggression coming out of Team Liquid Academy, and even tries to go in too far, but that's where the faltering happens. Unfortunately, Armao, he's just zoning off a little too well. Ayla and Yon, just too good of a bot lane at this point. It was down to a battle of numbers and too aggressive a position coming in from FlyQuest Academy.
Well, like I said, it took them so long to be able to kill Armao. How they killed him fast enough to then be able to turn back onto Team Liquid, it would have worked. But the fact that it just took a second too long meant that Gon and everyone else was able to show up and get into the back line to be able to get so much damage out that there's very little FlyQuest could honestly even do in the fight except for maybe not engage in the first place.
It's just so difficult to keep Tomo safe in all of these fights. Yes, he'll eventually scale up, but if he doesn't stay safe during those fights where he's all scaled up, it doesn't matter. If you have Ayla diving him every opportunity, then there's no way your marksman is going to do anything as the game continues.
It's also really hard to say Tomo and Kumo in a team fight, I just realized in that last team fight. Because I kept wanting to say Como and Tumo.
Those are not players in this league.
No, not at all. And I kept wanting to do that, and I had to like stop myself. And I only realized that just now, because you know when you look at it on paper, you're like, oh, that's easy. Then you say it in a team fight, you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate thing, but you know, sometimes teams just try to trip up the casters. I get it.
They're not trying to.
Are they?
Or are they?
I like to think it's a conspiracy against us, Magical.
Could be. Well, right now, Destiny Gate open, but just going top lane. Just gonna push out the minion waves again, and noticing that there's no Twisted Fate nearby, say, you know what? Why don't we just take the tier 1, open up the jungle, a little bit of NXI, since they did the same with that Rift Herald before. Even up pretty much at the moment, but still having a slight gold lead for Team Liquid Academy. And we've already seen what they were able to do when they were the ones at a disadvantage. Now that they got themselves a pretty sizable lead over that of FlyQuest Academy, it seems like FlyQuest aren't really sure the plays that they can even make, if any at all.
Well, the plays they need to make are to get this Baron objective, try to get a little bit more vision, especially in the top side of Team Liquid Academy's jungle, because otherwise there's no way that you're going to be able to defend against it. Team Liquid Academy, they have the momentum in their favor. They have Yon on this extremely strong Kai'Sa. They can take down a Baron if they focus on it, but FlyQuest Academy needs to be able to counter and know if it's happening at all points in the game.
That's why they're playing a bit passively, but I expect to see soon once NXI has recalled, having that great build.
Staff of Flowing Water.
Staff of Flowing
Classic.
Water. And making me very happy, yeah, as you can tell from the tone of my voice. But, you know, recalling, getting the Secret Arm Guard as well as Stopwatch to be a little bit safer when it comes to these next team fights, but mostly wanting to be able to get those control wards, to be able to fight back, try to retain some semblance of a control of the vision within your own jungle on the top quadrant of the map.
Also looking at builds, I noticed Kumo has completed his Blade of the Rune King as well as the Gore Drinker, so looking pretty darn strong. Hasn't gone for the Steric second, which I would think is a more common build on the Renekton. He just wants to do damage at this point, but I get it.
TPN for the play. Payri pretty far out. Crocodile Man wants to be able to find them. Where's he going to be able to go? They're going to be able to go Gold Card Cleanse as well as Dawning Shadow to be able to get a shutdown for Kumo.
Very heads-up play coming in from FlyQuest Academy. They recognized that Hayri was by himself, alone in the top lane, and there was a perfect teleport ward for Kumo to come in. They make the play, they get the summoner spells out, which is crucial for the next fight, and they get the pick. So all around a win for FlyQuest Academy.
Now, what can they do with it? They've got the pick onto Hayri, no TP to worry about except out of Jenkins. Do they look for another pick? Do they look for the objective? Because they lost out on that tier 1 in the bot lane. A little bit more gold picked up by Team Liquid. And this is what I need to see from FlyQuest. I need to see them trying to either set up a fight coming up soon, or possibly get themselves that dragon that's about to spawn.
I think they're going to go for the Dragon. Team Liquid Academy without Hayri are feeling pretty weak, so they're going to back off, probably wisely so, and instead try to get the vision around the Baron refreshed, just to make sure that there's no sneaky play that's going to come from FlyQuest Academy.
No sneaky play just yet, but
rinse and repeat is what I say for FlyQuest. They have great pick potential from both the Twisted Fate and from that Renekton, while the team fight capabilities of Lilia and Senna are going to be able to help out, especially if they want to be able to disengage using Dreams. I want to see them continue to find these picks. Find out Hayri, find out maybe even Jenkins. If they can find Yon, that's a dream come true, because if you're just going for a pick onto Armau, it's not really going to do too hot, just because how takey he's going to be.
And especially the commitment you need in order to take out Armau is way too great. We saw what happened a couple team fights ago where they went into the bottom side of the river and they got completely decimated on the backside because of how hard they had to go in and how far they had to push Tomo before he could be safe.
And that's the problem. You don't want to have Tomo having to be the one who's either in the middle of everyone or, flashing away and then easy targets, easy pickups for a flank out of Jenkins and Armau. Instead, you need to be able to find someone like Yon first. Get into the backline, find that pick, make that play.
And right now, FlyQuest Academy just kind of stalling out, waiting for Team Liquid Academy to make the mistake, because if they manage to get the pick that they need, especially if it's Jenkins or Hayri, then they have the ability to push on, perhaps even go for the Baron. But as it stands right now, Team Liquid Academy playing equally as passive, waiting. Each opponent just kind of looking at each other, seeing who will flinch first.
It might be FlyQuest, because Team Liquid, they're in a solid spot. They don't have to threaten anything right now. All they have to do is keep getting vision control. Eventually, they're going to keep getting these items, and they're going to be scary enough. All they have to do is wait for the team fight to come to them. They don't really want to fully engage. They want to make sure, obviously, they're not getting picked out, but as long as they can control the vision and slowly suffocate FlyQuest, they can eventually go for, say, a Baron, for a Dragon, while FlyQuest are the ones who are going to have to make those split-moment reactionary plays to find anything.
At best, though, you have to worry about Team Liquid Academy only getting 2 dragons thus far, so they can't play for Soul Point quite yet. They can't play for Elder Dragon for a long time, and there's just going to be a long bit of drought while Yon and Hayri are just scaling up. And on the other side, Tomo still has scaling. Like, Senna is still going to be doing a lot towards the late game. It's just going to be a lot slower than Yon is going to be.
Yeah, this ain't your fasting Senna build. This is the damage Kraken Slayer Mortal Reminder Senna build. To be able to get through those tanky members, deny any healing coming in from Jenkins, and try to see if they can shred apart even Armau or Ayla as they dive into the backline.
Also on strange builds, Triple going for what looks like a death cap instead of the normal rapid fire cannon that we see out of Twisted Fates. Perhaps he's seen that magic resist hasn't been built a whole lot, except by Jenkins, who has a spectral cowl.
Shockwave, Hayri, I respect the attempts, but it was just a little too ambitious there, a little too far out. Now without that, FlyQuest might look for the play. Jenkins was able to get into the backline, but they're able to lock him down, doubled it up as well. Dawning Shadow, look at that shield that comes in from Sarah, and then the heal in from the Gore Drinker. Rumo trying to be able to escape from the fight, but look into the backline. Xi trying to see if he can stay alive and survive. Trying to get away, but he's pulled back in. Rampage for Yon. They got the stun they needed to onto Ayla. So it's a trade of 1-for-1 at the moment. But the jungler for the support, not necessarily the best. Here's going to be the Destiny Gate. What was that triple? Oh, no.
Oh, I saw that happening, and I thought in slow motion. I saw his life flash before his eyes. Sort of like a shared experience, as it were. Triple going a little too deep into that fight.
Golden.
Yeah. And Jenkins fighting.
Kumo, though. Kumo wants to actually fight this. No Gore Drinker this time around. Trying to heal up. They got the concussive blows and shut down. Gifted over to Kumo. Baron's down to 50%. NXI might not be up, but they can still threaten this fight. They've got the health coming in from Tomo. Dreams want to be able to get there. They use Shockwave just to make sure they can get the smite and get out of dodge, because they got to get out of there like a bat out of hell.
Just a little too long on that fight between Kumo and Jenkins. Great zoning, but unfortunately, Jenkins does give up his own life, and therefore the split push gonna be hurt pretty bad for Team Liquid Academy after taking the Baron. So what is their next move here? They probably want to go for Dragon, and FlyQuest Academy, they have to wait again. They thought they found the pick early on in this fight, but unfortunately, it just didn't happen for them. Jenkins was on the other side, they didn't have the vision, and he's too tanky. We saw that shield, it's over 800, I promise you, and the healing coming in from this Aatrox, too much to deal with.
God, he healed for so long, and unfortunately for NXI, you know, rock and hard place, not really going to be able to survive, but right here is where it goes disastrously. Triple, I think, needed to do the Destiny Gate play where you immediately go golden upon arrival. That might have made the play work, but the fact that he didn't, he wanted to be able to get a gold card. Instead, it was doom and gloom.
Pretty scary coming in for FlyQuest Academy as the Dragon has spawned up. It looks like Armao is immediately on it. We'll be able to take it down with no contest, and that's going to put them at sole point. Team Liquid Academy find themselves in a pretty good position. They have the split push going. It looks like a 4-1 for the moment. Jenkins has teleports. This is going to work out pretty well, but unfortunately, as we mentioned before, he doesn't have the Baron, so it's not going to be as effective as if he had lived throughout that last play.
Now within sole points for Team Liquid Academy. This is the play that they wanted. This is the advantage they needed. They've noticed Kumo has already TP'd in. Oh, Armao a little bit too far out. They even have concussive blows. A lot of damage coming in. He's trying to flash back towards the team because they already got Jenkins in the middle of everyone. As Kumo's trying to see if he can survive against the Darkened Blade. He's getting a bit of a shield coming in from the Dawning Shadow. Trying to see if he can get the Gorger. Going to be able to get a lot more help, but he's shut down by Yawn. Team Liquid Academy are able to thwart and rout the rest of FlyQuest Academy. They're not even going to attempt it. Jenkins threatening triple, but they've already got the advantage they need.
Magical, you mentioned this minutes ago, but Armao is too tanky to be your target if you're trying to get picks. He will not go down without 5 members pounding on him for at least a good 10 seconds, and unfortunately, FlyQuest Academy don't have that kind of time. The bottom inhibitor is down, the Baron is still up, and Team Liquid Academy look poised to make it a 6-0! What?
Well, right now, Jan's 6-0, and he wants to be able to see if he can get the rest of the team there as well, because they eviscerated poor Triple there. Again, caught out. And with the slow clear coming in from FlyQuest, all they have to do for Team Liquid's sake is wait it out for the minions to show back up, and again, they can knock at another inhibitor turret and inhibitor.
And there's no contest once again for FlyQuest Academy. They have no means of getting in on this fight. You can see Dreams looking, Kumo looking, but unfortunately no teleport, no flash means this Gator is all out of options and he is out of the Bayou. So Team Liquid Academy are able to just back on off. They get the reset that they need, and they're going to be very scary on this next push.
Bayou. Unfortunately, like you said, is definitely locked there and waiting for Triple to be able to respawn with 5,000, almost 6,000 gold deficit for FlyQuest Academy. Those last couple fights, I mean, hell, we could even go back before then. Almost every single team fight has not really been what they've been wanting. They started out this game so strong and such a firm control, but every single time it's been chipped away, chipped away by Jenkins, by Armao, by everyone on the side of Team Liquid Academy, so that Jenkins can easily just, this is just the easiest dive in the world.
Jan just comes in for the cleanup. Well done by Jan.
He's just like, yoink, that's mine.
Yep. I'm 6-0 now. What up?
And he's got a Guardian's Angel!
Yep. He is a 4-item ADC with boots completed as well, and the Executioner's Calling, so there's no healing through his damage. He is as strong as he is going to get this game. Yes, the Mortal Reminder is coming, but not for a little bit.
Oh, that feels bad, because really the hope and the shining light for FlyQuest Academy is if they could pick off Yawn. Now they can't. Even if you do somehow manage to grab him, he's going to be able to revive, and by the time he's back up, you better bet your butt that everyone on Team Liquid is going to dive into that fight to try to save him.
And with that, topside's going to be the next push. Team Liquid Academy, they are in the driver's seat, and they are putting the pedal to the metal. FlyQuest Academy are struggling to find out how to defend this, what pick they could possibly get, but Ayla, the scariest rail of all, trying to push forward on her horsey, and might just be able to get the next big pick.
Well, it seems that Team Liquid Academy are continuing to play this one slow. They had some great fights, some great picks, and some great fights, but all they need is to keep giving more gold over to Yawn, even with the dominance. Kumo, you just can't survive that one, even if you're able to get a lot of health back in. And finally, Hayri, he takes him down. Dreams knocked up by the Darkened Blade. Tomo on the other side threatening them a little bit. We've even opened up the Destiny Gate. Wow, Magnetic goes to the double kill before them. They might have lost Isla, but it doesn't matter. NXI has flashed away, triple inside the base. The two of them are alive, but the base is in tatters and shredded apart. They're continuing to look for these picks and fights and plays as everyone else on the side of FlyQuest Academy, they're still dead, still waiting to be able to respawn, can't do anything to be able to fight back in this game, and Team Liquid Academy maintain their dominance and undefeated streak.
Team Liquid just did everything they needed to do in that scenario. They won the team fights they needed to. They got the stats they needed to. They put the gold where it needed to be, specifically onto the bot lane where you just saw the domination from Jan. He's going to keep doing that, and there is no stopping this Kai'Sa.
And that game was definitely a turn from what we've been seeing out of Team Liquid Academy, where normally they're the ones with this firm grasp from the gates, from the get-go, where they constantly get these leads or making these plays. It was FlyQuest, where I thought, man, they've made some great plays, some great calls around Rift Herald. They've got good picks. They should be the ones that are able to snowball. But then the next team fight happened, and Team Liquid Academy, especially Ayla on that rel, was able to do so much work to be able to keep everyone locked in that they could easily follow it up.
I was about to say, this is all an Ayla game, because any time there was a play, any time there was a team fight, you knew Ayla was going to get the 4-person magnetic storm and completely change the outcome of the fight. Jenkins, the unsung hero, did damage, sure. Jan did damage, sure, but it's all about that initial engage, and that's what Team Liquid Academy has shown us today, and that's what they're going to continue to show us, I imagine, as the season continues.
We've been seeing some amazing plays from supports today. I gotta say, it's definitely been like a support highlight day, because all these great, crazy engages or saves that they've been able to manage, and seeing Ayla play that rel that you and I had been talking about as being one of the strongest rels in Academy, and pretty much just proving why we were saying that beforehand, saying, all right, I'm the one who's going to start off all these fights, and you guys just follow up with the damage.
Just tough to deal with. And FlyQuest Academy, again, they had a very good early game. They were able to get that really nice fight outside of the Baron pit, able to get the Rift Herald as well off of that, but they couldn't follow it up. There just wasn't enough engage coming out of this team. The disengage was strong, but there wasn't a lot of options to do proactive plays.
Right. And so for now, we're going to toss to a break. When we come back, we're going to be back with a player interview. So guys, stick around. Welcome back into the Academy broadcast. It's going to be a great interview. It's not a player interview. Instead, it's going to be a coach interview. We've got Spawn on the line for an interview brought to you and presented by Verizon Wireless. Spawn, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on yet another win. And I got to ask you, now that you guys are still undefeated after 3 weeks of gameplay, are you guys the best team?
I think we're playing
Simple
well
as that.
at the moment. Don't get me wrong, like I do think that, to go 6-0 like is a really great accomplishment. Are we the best team is really hard to tell because we haven't played against both 100 Thieves and Cloud9 Academy, who we rate very highly, even though 100 Thieves aren't necessarily converting it into match days. So I would say like we're on our way to being the team that we envisage ourselves to be. We're playing a really positive brand of League of Legends, which is super nice, but I think that we're not really counting our chickens just yet. Best of 1 format, single round robin. There's lots of things that, can be false positives in these games, and it's not like we haven't had to play from a deficit so far.
So I have to ask, Spawn, when you have a draft and when you're thinking about what the players need in order to succeed, what are the tools that you give them in game in order to allow them to play their best?
All right, other academy coaches, get your notepads out. So no, like in all seriousness, like all we do is we just give like a ton of prio and stronger jungler. That's what we like to do. Is like I think that Armeo is probably the best jungler in Academy running around. I was actually super surprised that he wasn't in LCS this split, to be completely honest, after watching him play. So like I think we like to play really fast League of Legends around him. And then like we look for a lot of aggressive pushing lanes, which I'm sure you've seen. Like I'm sure people would have seen like the change in Bob Jenkins' champion pool so far and how he's playing those lanes out. Ayla and Yon as well, playing very, very aggressive lanes, and Harry's known for his laning as well. So I think that's what we want to push. Much like the main team, we want to be really aggressive in our gameplay. The games went a little bit longer this weekend, but before that, we're sitting on about 28 minutes average game time, which is super quick. And we want to continue to push the pace of that.
I think even just to like go back to that, you guys still retain like a 29-30 minute game average, one of the fastest game averages in the league at the moment. So that's definitely something to be proud of. But I actually want to ask you now, Spawn, just kind of changing the pace a little bit, more of a personal question towards you. You were a caster over in OCE as well as a coach there. Now coming over here to North America, how has that change been for you?
I don't want to get too emotional, right? Because normally when people ask this question, I kind of get misty-eyed. But obviously, I've got 2 kids back home, and a partner, fiance. I've got a house and stuff, and just given the state of the world at the moment, it has been a solo trip so far. So I've been away from my boys for the longest time ever. But apart from that, everything else has been super positive. Joining an org like Team Liquid is honestly a life-changing experience. Like they're definitely the best org I've ever been a part of, and I've been a part of some good ones in the past. And their support and how they facilitate, the growth of this team has been amazing. And then the team I got, to be completely honest, I thought was like kind of sleeper OP. I look at some of the preseason predictions about how people think this team is going to do, and I really question whether people are watching these games in the past, because I think that we actually have like a really talented lineup. So we came in with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder as well, I would say, at the start of the season, and we're trying to prove some of the critics wrong. But overall, like the journey to North America has been really, really great. And I think that that's a credit to the team that I've been able to coach. And, also my two-way coach as well, and Hacks Defender, he's done an awesome job of filling in, some holes I have in my gameplay. Jack and Cold and the team of analysts we have as well, they're like super engaged with how Academy is going this year as well. So I think overall, like the change has been, just incredible.
And one final question from me, Spawn. Have you ever had any awkward conversations with the bot laner of Dignitas regarding anything that might be, an overlap of names, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Spawn, when I was coaching in the Scattered Grounds, was a player that I was actually keeping a really close eye on. And, I'm sure people would have seen he like dueled a little bit with Core JJ, and he was someone that we actually picked up with our pick from Scouting Grounds because CLG was taking Yon, who was another 80 carry we were looking at. And there was a real possibility that, if Yon signed with CLG, that we would sign Spawn, and then one of us would have to change our name. So I was like, what do I change my name to? I came to the realization that maybe I just put Old Man in front of my current name. So I go to Old Man Spawn, and he gets to retain normal Spawn. But now that we're on different teams, it's a little bit easier. But speaking about that Spawn, I think he's one hell of a player, by the way. And it's really nice to see a couple of really great 80 carries come out of Scouting Grounds. I think Yon is insanely good and is only getting better as he continues to learn. But I also think Spawn has really made a splash, and excited for that Dig roster.
Thank you, Spawn, for that interview. You're great. And I know a lot of people out there always love the trash talk and stuff, but I love the wholesome stuff. And you did an amazing job talking about all this stuff and how great the scene's going. And I wish you and Team Liquid the best of luck going forward.
No worries. Thank you very much. And just think, if the rest of the scene's great, how good must we be to be 6-0? That's all I'm saying.
Hey, yeah, heard it from Spawn. That's a good thing to see, and you're hoping that they're going to be able to retain that. But we got one more game for today on the Academy broadcast. It is going to be between Golden Guardians Academy and Evil Geniuses. Stick around after the break.